Okay, let's give you guys some more practice. So let's say you've got a grid here with a point 5, 3. You have to draw a straight line going through that point. So let's just say this straight line here, and then you have yourself a triangle here. The question is, how can you create the smallest triangle, the area of the smallest triangle? So you could draw a straight line like this, or you could draw a straight line like this. You see, the question here is, how would you minimize the area of the triangle here? Okay, but it has to pass through this point here. Okay, so press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this here, you have to set. Well, there are lots of ways of doing this. Let's say you've got this triangle here. Let's say you've drawn this straight line here. You could, well, ultimately you want a graph of area versus something that you're varying over here. So you could vary the angle here, theta. Okay, so let's say when theta is pi over 2, it makes no sense because you're not really forming a triangle. So you can move it a microscopic amount just to the right. Okay, so it's like this. But the point is that you, well, or you could make theta really flat. Hang on. Or you can make theta really flat. The point here is that theta, the domain for our problem here would be theta has to be greater than 0. It makes no sense if theta here is 0. Otherwise you would just get a straight line down here. And then it has to be strictly less than pi over 2. So the domain for our problem here has to be between, well, theta has to be between 0 and pi over 2. Well, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to create, well, you ultimately want to create a graph of A versus something. One way is to vary theta here. So you ultimately get a graph of area versus theta. So it may look something like this, and your job here is to find out the minimum area. Okay. The other way of doing it is to label this, is to call this I don't know, is to vary this here. Okay. So you can slide x here back and forth. So you could label this as x. Okay. Or you could set it up so that this here is x. So you can vary this thing here up and down, or you can call this here x, and then just vary it from here. The point is that there are lots of ways of doing this. Okay. In the next video, I will show you one way where we are going to call this x. We are going to vary it. So this x here represents this length here, as opposed to this length here. Okay, but there are lots of ways of doing it. You could vary theta, or you could vary. There are lots of ways of doing it. Okay, I will continue in the next video.